there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we try our best to bring the best and most accurate information that we can.
We have not recorded together in, I think, like a month and a half at this point. Have you forgotten everything you've ever learned about every animal on the planet?
No. Just the important parts.
That's good. That means you're a blank slate. I get fresh reacts to everything. And we are back after a 2-week trip. Possibly the longest trip we've taken.
I feel like we've taken around that length around Christmas time before. Just all Florida.
Well, we did a 2-week gauntlet, I might call it, where we spent a week in Chicago, which was awesome. Met up with friend Vikram Baliga and his wife Alana and their kiddo, and we did a family trip in Chicago all together, which was so cool. This was my first time in Chicago, not Christian's first time though.
Yeah, it was my first time as an adult though, so there's that.
Which I guess is a different experience, right?
Yeah.
As an adult where you get to pick where you go. Although we were traveling with children, so it wasn't like a total wild and crazy, cutting loose on the town.
I got to walk a couple blocks in the middle of the night.
Wow.
I saw a 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts.
That's huge.
So yeah, quite the wild time.
Life in the big city. Well, we had the most galaxy brain 900 IQ move by both of us and also Vikram's family traveling and staying really close to each other, because we did a kid swap night where one night their kid came and hang out with us so that they could go out, and then the next night our kids hung out with them so that we could go out. And I felt like that was you don't normally get to do stuff like that when you're traveling with your family.
True.
So that was really fun. We had a fantastic time. We got to go to the Shedd Aquarium.
That was nice.
So cool. Labyrinthine, I would describe that building as. Never in my life have I been more lost inside a building.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, I kind of get that a little bit. How you can't go from just because two areas are on the same floor doesn't mean you can walk directly to that area. You have to go up the stairs, across, back down the stairs.
All the stairs aren't aligned, so there's no single elevator shaft that goes all the way down or all the way up. And
some elevators don't let out on certain floors for unclear reasons. Yeah, really, really confusing build. From the moment I set foot in the building to the moment I stepped out, I was lost the entire time. I had no idea where I was.
Prevents the penguins from escaping.
That's what's keeping them in. It's like a Minotaur situation. That's how it felt. But it was a really cool aquarium. Yeah. Never seen a sturgeon touch tank before. That was quite interesting. Our kids went bananas at the stingray touch tank. That was a highlight of the entire trip for them. They loved the stingray touch tank.
We really got in under the wire too. We got the last couple stingray feeding tickets for the day. Because they don't want to overfeed the stingrays. Yeah.
Really cool. Got to see some stuff I hadn't really seen in aquariums before. Really liked this one. They had an electric eel tank that I thought was really cool. Arapaima. The Arapaima tank was amazing. It was beautiful. Saw a lot of fish that I recognized from Animal Crossing. That one bioluminescent fish tank was really cool.
Yeah. I'd never seen that in an aquarium, I don't think.
Yeah, they had a cool, the lights were low so that you could see these fish doing this bioluminescent flickering in their tank. It was really cool. So lots of stuff at the Shedd Aquarium. We spent a long time there that day.
Yeah.
It was a lot of walking. We got quite tired. We did also see a beluga show, which was cool.
Which was the highlight of my first trip too, that I remember.
Really?
Yeah, going to the Shedd Aquarium and seeing the belugas.
Yeah, so that was great. Really beautiful building. Also the architecture in there. I know that's not really the star of the show, but I've never seen an aquarium that had such beautiful interior design and the architecture inside, the columns and pillars and the ceilings and stuff were very ornate and intricately decorated. So I loved that. We also went to the Field Museum. Got to see the famous T-Rex skeleton, Sue. Loved that. That was really cool. And we did get to go behind the scenes with, if you've listened to the podcast a while, the hosts of the Birds of a Feather Talk Together podcast, who have been on our show. I've been on their show. They are also the curators of the bird collection at the Field Museum, Shannon Hackett and John Bates, who very graciously took us behind the scenes and showed us the research specimens and the beetle room where they prepare the specimens for taxidermy, which was very, very cool, very interesting to see. I'm glad I got to see it. I could not hang. I couldn't spend more than 2 minutes in that room. Truly otherworldly it was the smell in that room. Untenable. That was gnarly because the whole room with just like dozens of tanks where they're like having beetles like decompose carcasses for like preparing them to be like preserved.
I was surprised Finley stuck it out.
Finley was weirdly unfazed by anything in that room.
Well, and like he recognized it smelled bad.
Yeah.
But, like
he wasn't bothered by it. He wasn't even like icked out by like the beetles and bones and stuff.
Right.
He was like weirdly chill about the whole room. He was like, oh, neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
But kind of the whole reason for the trip at all was the Pokemon fossil exhibit.
Right.
Guys, if you're a Pokemon fan and have been a Pokemon fan for a long time, I felt like it was worth the trip. It was worth the trip.
Yeah. I think, oddly enough, my favorite part of it was just the paleontologist characters they designed for it.
Yeah. So this exhibit is one that has been done in Japan for a while, but this is, I want to say, right now the only museum outside of Japan that has this Pokemon fossil exhibit. So one thing, if you're going, book your tickets in advance. Like, make sure they have tickets available for the day you're going to be there and like book them in advance.
So you will need general admission to the museum and a separate ticket to the Pokemon exhibit.
And they sell out.
The latter one.
They sell out way ahead of, especially if it's on a weekend. Book it in advance. And also the Field Museum had done a lot of development of the materials for the exhibit, like in addition to what the Pokemon Company had developed. How you had like stuff that was about the Pokemon, and then you had stuff that was about like real world paleontology and real fossils. And they had just really, really cool, like you would have a model of a fossil Pokemon like skeleton, or even just like the real Pokemon. And then right next to it would be an actual real fossil, like that Pokemon's design was based on. They'd be right next to each other. So like, I think maybe my favorite part of the exhibit was having a relicanth and a coelacanth specimen like right next to each other. That was amazing. They had a T-Rex skull right next to Tyrantrum, which was really cool. And they also had the music from the Gen 1 museum music playing.
That skull was actually a cast from Sue.
Oh, that makes sense. Because they have Sue's like skull not mounted with the rest of the skeleton.
Right. Because it was deformed.
Yeah. And a huge exhibit, too. We were in there for a long time. Very, very well made. Super immersive. I really loved it. I thought it was great. If you're like a lifelong Pokemon fan, I felt like it was worth the trip. And we snagged some cool merch, too, while we were there.
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, we got the cake pops, just Finley and I.
You got cake pops? What?
When we finished doing the T-Rex and we were waiting for y'all to come get us.
And you got cake pops without me? I'm just now finding out about this live. The betrayal? I can see why you waited to tell me until right now. You had to wait until the wound had healed.
When you mentioned snacks, I was like, oh yeah.
Of course we had Chicago deep dish pizza, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But it was a really nice trip. And then we spent a week in Florida. Nothing to report podcast related there, other than we did make a trip to the Jacksonville Zoo. Hadn't been there in a very long time.
Yeah. Very excited for the new entrance with the big tarp covering.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't think that's tarp.
I mean,
that's got to be like solid structure.
A roof of some sort.
Yeah. A shaded, my kingdom for shade.
Yeah.
So that was our first time. And since the last time we were there, they've added a huge manatee exhibit, where before they had like a manatee, what is it, rehabilitation center, but it was like basically like an above ground pool, you know. But these are, I think, like this is a permanent installation of like manatees that with a big, huge, beautiful exhibit that they can swim around in.
One of the staff was telling me though that those are still manatees that they plan to release when able to.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked great.
It was very nice.
It was too hot though.
Yeah, but we came prepared.
We did come prepared, but it was still like, it was in the high 90s and like 80% humidity.
That would have been swift retreat had we not been prepared for it.
We also got there when they opened.
Yeah.
We were there literally the moment they opened, and then we left by like 1 p.m.
I felt like it got cooler as it,
yeah,
which was weird.
Well, anyway, so that was our trip. That's why we've been gone for a few weeks, and I did get to hang out with Lulu Miller from Terrestrials, which was awesome. Got to meet up with her in Chicago and walk around and look at like birds and bugs and stuff. So
Nice.
It was a really cool time. I got to like meet and hang out with people that I don't normally get to see, and it was just a nice long trip of connecting with people and seeing stuff. And y'all should see my iNaturalist. My iNaturalist was loaded up. So that's where we've been. And now we're back, and I'm ready to talk to you about a new animal for today.
All right, what is it?
This week, I'll be talking about mongooses.
Oh, like all the mongooses.
There's not that many of them. There's like 30-ish species of mongooses. Mongooses belong to the family Herpestidae. Yeah. They were submitted via email by listener Michaela Titus. Thank you, Michaela. And all of my works cited where I'm getting this information from will be in the episode description. So if you want to check out these sources and learn more about where I got this stuff from, please scroll down and check out the links in the episode description. So if you've never met or seen a mongoose, most of them are about the size and general shape of a ferret. I'd say they're about ferret weasel analog, sort of.
We're going to get into taxonomy there.
A little bit. Why?
I'm curious just where they are in relation to each other.
What do you think? Where would you guess?
I feel like...
Pin the species on the taxonomic tree.
I feel like weasels and mongooses are close, and then ferrets are less close.
Less close
to the mongooses.
So weasels and ferrets are mustelids.
Okay.
So they're close to each other.
Oh, okay.
They're also not particularly close to mongooses.
Okay.
Mongooses are actually in Feliformia.
Oh.
So they're closer to cats than to mustelids.
Okay.
So other things in Feliformia are things like hyenas. So mongooses are actually closer to hyenas than they are to weasels. And Fusa from Madagascar.
Yeah.
Meerkats are in the mongoose family. So meerkats are a type of mongoose. We have talked about meerkats. It was 1,000 trillion billion years ago, but we have talked about meerkats. And mongooses are native to Africa and warmer parts of Asia. So there are about like 30-ish species of mongoose, and typically they're in those warmer parts of like Africa and Asia. Now, just to take a quick little detour down etymology lane, because you know I like word stuff. Listener Michaela included in their email, which I've heard echoed by a lot of other people, quote, I want to start a petition that the plural of mongoose should be mongoose, not mongooses. What do you think? What's your take?
What's that Futurama character say? Like, I have no strong opinions either way.
This sounds like a protective strategy. Because I feel like you're bracing for the fact that I have opinions. And you don't want to be caught in the opinion crossfire.
Not quite. I just feel like it doesn't come up very much.
It surely does not come up very much in our day-to-day life, because we don't live in a place that has mongooses, so it does not come up. I actually find it very, very interesting that the plural of mongoose is not mongoose. And I think that the story of why it is not mongoose makes it interesting enough that I like to keep it as mongooses, because that is more interesting to me. So basically, way, way, way back in the days of Old English, nouns in general became plural by shifting the vowel sound from the back of the mouth towards the front of the mouth. So this was before we just slapped S onto the end of things to make them plural. This is like Old English. So you had words like foot became feet, and tooth became teeth, right? So you see that vowel sound shifting towards the front of the mouth. That was how English used to make things plural. Goose, which came from Old English gons, became geese. So words that came from Old English tended to keep that pluralization, like going from oo to e. But the word mongoose, despite having the exact same word in there, goose, did not come from Old English, because mongooses were not found in that part of Europe at the time when that language was developing. They just straight up did not have a word for it. Mongoose instead came from Indian languages like Marathi, Telugu, and Tamil, which all had words for this animal that kind of sounded like mongoose. So those Indian names for the mongoose just became the English word for what we now call those animals.
That makes sense. I feel like the name Old English might trick you into thinking how close it is to modern day English.
It's unintelligible.
I was like, even Middle English
it's tough. You need a translation for Middle English for sure. Yeah, it's a completely different language. It works like completely differently from modern English.
Yeah.
It's just that's where a lot of our roots come from.
Yeah. It's more describing I guess it being the ancestor of the current English language.
Yeah. Yeah. So mongoose is not a word that came from Old English. So that's why it doesn't follow the same rule. It didn't come from the same root language, which is the same as why moose is not meese. The word moose also did not come from Old English. It came from Algonquian languages that were indigenous to North America, which those languages all had their own ways to pluralize that word. So like in like Ojibwe, it was muzug, or like in, I think it was like Abenaki, it became mozak. But we don't have those pluralization schemes in English, so we just didn't take them into English. So that's why moose isn't meese and mongoose isn't mongoose.
Right.
Because those were imported words, basically.
And really, at what point in time they were imported.
Right. Yeah, they came in too late for them to follow that same, like, pluralization. So I think it's interesting enough that, like, I keep saying mongooses, and every source that I found says mongooses. Although when you look it up in the dictionary does say that mongoose is an accepted plural form of it.
I wonder how sudden that shift was in how pluralization worked in English, and if there was a point in time where people were having to use both, like, and they're
like, oh God. Do you think it sounded like annoying slang to them for a while? Like putting the S on the end of words sounded like some sort of like, it sounded like bruh to them. They were like, when are people going to stop doing this? Like, I find etymology to tell interesting stories about like when groups of people encounter certain concepts, right? I find stuff like that interesting.
Yeah.
I will not ever correct anyone for saying mongoose. Speak your truth. Call them mongoose if you want to call them mongoose. It's totally fine. I'll know you know what? As long as your meaning was conveyed accurately and your listener understands your intention, communication has been successfully achieved.
Yeah. Now I have a threshold for when to use that amount of time and energy. And that is far below
it. There are too many things in life to stress us out. We can't be worrying about mongoose. If this is anyone's first time listening to this show, we rate animals out of 10, and the first category is effectiveness. These are physical adaptations that let an animal do a good job of the things that it's trying to do. And I'm giving mongooses a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
And most of this is coming from one trait of mongooses. What do you think it is?
Is it fighting cobras?
It is. They share their native ranges with extremely venomous snakes. And these are very generalist predators. They will eat pretty much anything small enough for them to catch and fit in their mouths.
Right.
And sometimes that means snakes. And sometimes those snakes are extremely spicy. So they need to be able to deal with hunting, fighting, and often getting bitten by extremely venomous snakes. This means that they have developed an immunity. Maybe immunity isn't the right word, but an extremely high tolerance for snake venoms. And the mechanism underneath this is very interesting. In your muscles are neurons, so part of your nervous system, right? The electrical relay system between your body and your brain. Neurons tell your muscles when to contract and release. So signals are sent from the nerve ending to the muscle by a compound called acetylcholine. That compound binds to a receptor in the muscle. Now, you can think of all this. You can think of the acetylcholine as Rebel Alliance troops who need to reach the ship that Princess Leia is on. That ship obviously is called... Do you remember the name of the ship?
No.
Tantive 4?
Is
that the one?
Yes, it is.
So you can think of this as the Rebel Alliance troops who need to reach the Tantive 4 being the muscle. to deliver the Death Star plans.
Oh, okay.
By which I mean the signal to contract the muscle to Princess Leia, but they can only do that with a key card that gets them through the door to the muscle. The venom in the snakes that mongooses usually encounter, there are a lot of different types of snake venoms, but the ones most common in the in the snakes that mongooses are usually up against contains alpha neurotoxins. Alpha neurotoxins are shaped exactly like acetylcholine. So they bind to the muscle's receptors, which you may imagine the lights in the synapse going dark, and you hear this heavy mechanical breathing. And the alpha neurotoxins show up and hold the receptors shut. And then start aura farming. Like how Darth Vader is like holding the door shut with the Force to try to keep them from like getting the plans through to Princess Leia.
See, I think that was actually a mechanical problem.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
If only they had the door technician, Rick, the famous door technician.
Yeah, see, Darth Vader was too busy throwing people around, ripping guns out of people's hands.
He was busy, 30v1ing? Aura farming, as it were. So now that the door is being jammed by the alpha neurotoxin, the acetylcholine cannot get through. The signal to contract does not make it to the muscles, and the muscles' movement is slowed down and paralyzed. Yeah. This is how like an alpha neurotoxin works. Now, mongooses have mutations to those receptors that receive the acetylcholine. Their receptors are shaped in such a way that the neurotoxins cannot attach to them. They bounce right off, completely ignore them, and the neurotoxins just proceed on through their system and get filtered out by the kidneys, and they do nothing. While the receptors still allow the acetylcholine to interact with it totally normally. So it is like a specific set of mutations to the shape of the receptors that completely ignores the neurotoxins while still allowing the normal function of the neuron.
I appreciate you went the Star Wars analogy route rather than a very simple, like, round hole square peg. Honest to God, I started that, and then I was like, wait, hold on. This is a lot like the Rogue One hallway scene. And then I went back and rewrote what I had. Now, listener, you might be wondering, well, what's the big deal if the muscles can't contract? Well, that includes the muscles that control breathing and your heart.
Yeah, you really want those to be working. Because if those aren't working, I mean, like, if it's something like your arms or your legs, then you're just going to be kind of, like, paralyzed and numb for, like, a little while. If you're lucky, until it just, like, wears off and then you have normal function. But considering that the things that these snakes are usually going to be envenomating are pretty small, a little goes a long way, right? Like, often this means death. This means you die.
Now, do they go up against the spitting cobras?
You know, probably. I think this is where spitting cobras live. But either way, if it's an alpha neurotoxin, they're fine. They're completely like unbothered by it.
I feel like that's a different mechanism though. Like for what affects the eyes.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know very much about spitting cobras and how they work. Could be a future episode.
Okay.
Ooh. Now, the mongoose's resistance to snake venom did inspire legends of what went on to be called the ichneumon, which was described as the weasel-like enemy of the dragon. So a sort of counterpart to dragon mythology was the ichneumon. So Pliny the Elder, friend of the pod, frequent source, wrote in Book 8, Chapter 36 of Natural History, which was written in the year 77, 2 years before the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, which killed Pliny the Elder. The ichneumon repeatedly plunges into mud and dries itself in the sun. Then, when it has equipped itself with a cuirass, that's how you say that word, right? Cuirass? C-U-I-R-A-S-S?
Cuirass?
Cuirass?
Is this curious? Perhaps?
No, it's like like armor that you wear.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Didn't look up how to pronounce it. Let me know in the comments. Of several coatings by the same method, it proceeds to the encounter. He's talking about an encounter with an asp, a venomous snake from Egypt. In this, it raises its tail and renders the blow it receives ineffectual by turning away from them, till after watching for its opportunity with head held sideways, it attacks its adversary's throat. And not content with this victim, it vanquishes another animal no less ferocious, the crocodile.
Oh.
I don't think that part's true. I'm sure a mongoose would not hesitate to take down a baby crocodile, but certainly not an adult crocodile.
No.
But anyway, so as with a lot of these stories that reach like ancient, Rome, a lot of this, I think, is like stories that were telephoned up into Europe by people who had traveled like to Egypt or to, Northern Africa or India or something. And they came back and they were like, it's the craziest thing. There's this little weasel dude that like can get bit by a snake and not die from it. And then it just kind of morphs over time into this mythology of this like rival to the dragon, right? Because what starts as like this little furry guy that eats snakes, by the time it reaches Europe, has now become this like beast of legend that has a rivalry with dragons.
You know who Pliny the Elder reminds me of? Volo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
From D&D and Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, you see him in Baldur's Gate, but there's a lot of like, because one of our D&D books is like Volo's
guy, like a monster's guide or whatever.
Yeah.
So like there's that one interaction where he's like he's talking about you, the player. He's like, did not notice the obvious dragon disguised as like just writing up these fantastical stories about loosely based on things he's observing.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of ancient records of especially things from Asia and Africa. A lot of this is like game of telephone. Like they heard it third, fourth hand from a person who was like, they were like eavesdropping on a conversation from someone who had like heard from a guy who heard from a guy who went to India. Like a lot of this was like that. But so the ichneumon was an ancient legend based on mongooses' poison tolerance. Now, a 2015 study that looked at things like honey badgers, hedgehogs, and pigs, in addition to mongooses, suggests that very similar changes to those same receptors have evolved convergently at least 4 times among mammals.
Wow.
So mongooses don't seem to be the only ones that have this mutated receptor, but they're not related to each other. It just keeps like happening over time, which I think is interesting. Because like obviously it is a mutation that would, if you live in a place that has venomous snakes, that's going to be super helpful to have, right?
Yeah.
But it's a roll of the dice. Like you got to roll the dice until you get it.
Well, I mean, it probably happens in lots of mammals, but is only being selected for where that's helping with that kind of venom.
Right, because also that doesn't help you against snakes that have a different type of venom.
Yeah.
Like this is only going to help you against the alpha neurotoxin type. It's not going to help you against like, there's like hemotoxin type.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to help. There have been times where like mongooses are introduced to other places that have venomous snakes, but different venomous snakes, and they don't survive there because it's different venom. It's like
they don't have the fear.
Right. Yeah. They've like evolved out their like fear of snakes.
Yeah.
So they've forgotten how to deal with snakes. Let's take a quick break to hear from our friends on the Maximum Fun Network, and then we'll talk ingenuity, aesthetics, and some conservation concerns for mongooses. I'm not going to say their conservation concerns, but some conservation concerns related to mongooses.
Ah, I see.
The Flophouse is a podcast where we watch a bad movie and then we talk about it.
Robert Shaw in Jaws, and they're trying to figure out how to get rid of the ghoulies, and he scratches his nails and goes, I'll get your ghoulie.
He's just standing above the toilet with a harpoon. No, I was just looking forward to you going through the other ways in which Wild Wild West is historically inaccurate.
You know how much movies cost nowadays when you add in your popped corn and your bagel bites and your cheese fritters?
You can't go wrong with a Henry Cavill mustache. Here at Henry Cavill Mustaches, the only supplier.
The Flophouse. New episodes every Saturday. Find it at MaximumFun.org.
Hey, are you playing a video game right now?
Maybe you put on a podcast while grinding in an RPG.
Or maybe you just don't want to hear that boss fight music one more time.
Been there. I'm Maddie Myers.
I'm Jason Schreier.
And I'm Kirk Hamilton. We're the hosts of Triple Click, a video game podcast.
A podcast you can listen to while you do other things.
Like driving or cooking or playing video games.
On Triple Click, we share our thoughts on the latest games.
And breaking news out of the video game industry.
And we also talk about other stuff besides games.
So while you're doing something else, make sure to check out Triple Click.
Listen on MaximumFun.org or wherever you find your podcasts.
The next category that we rate animals on is ingenuity. These are behaviors, things that the animal is doing to solve problems that they face and navigate their environment. I'm giving mongooses a 9 out of 10 for ingenuity.
Very good.
So there's two different groups of mongooses. There's solitary mongooses and then there's social mongooses. And I'm mostly in this section going to be talking about the social mongooses because the social behaviors of mongooses I think are the most fascinating. Calling mongooses social might kind of imply that they're like friendly and neighborly to each other and like help each other out and like each other and stuff. The truth is that they're more like organized criminals. Like they're social in the way that like the roving bands of raiders and like post-apocalyptic sci-fi stories are social.
Yeah.
Like it's more like organizing themselves into groups so that they can more effectively kill each other.
They'll tolerate each other's presence as long as it benefits them.
Well, they'll have like this very tightly knit group and they're thick as thieves. They sleep together, they groom each other, they raise each other's babies. So like a lot of times the females will like all give birth around the same time. And then it's called alloparenting, where like every parent in the group is equally a parent to all the other young. So like if one of the babies is hungry, it can walk up to any mother. It doesn't have to be its own mother. Like it can go up to any lactating mongoose and she'll be like, sure, go ahead. So like they will have a very, very tight knit little group. But if that group butts up against another group, war crimes are happening. They are slaughtering each other.
Wow.
So when the neighboring groups pose more of a threat, the mongooses tend to vocalize more, making them more coordinated as a group, even though that does make them easier for predators to find. Like they're giving away their position,
Right.
but they're making that sacrifice so that they can coordinate with each other better in case one of these rival groups attacks them. So like it seems like their strength in numbers and their conflict with other groups is taking a higher priority.
That makes sense. But also, could you imagine just the predator coming in and just this kind of battle royale thing going on? Where just like an enemy of my enemy, who is also my enemy. But
it's like 5 guys standing in a circle pointing guns at each other. Like, you think the predators ever like stumble upon this happening and they're like, ooh, if I just wait over here, there's going to be a bunch of dead mongooses in a few minutes. It's like as if they didn't already have enough problems with like all of the predators around that they face. They also tend to like, and a lot of times they will have like, there will be a bunch of groups that all have territory that like overlaps with each other. They're choosing this drama, which is so interesting to me.
I feel like there's some parallels here with humanity.
Oh, for sure. Well, there was this paper that was basically going into like how they are altering their behavior to anticipate conflict with other groups. So if they see that one of the groups around them is like getting bigger and posing more of a threat to them, then they will like change where they sleep at night, or they'll become more like on high alert around that group, or do things like, you know, communicate with each other more, anticipating that this rival group might attack them. So they're constantly keeping tabs on like the other nearby groups so that they know who's a bigger threat. Who can I like, okay, maybe if the group to my north is getting bigger and more intimidating, but the group to my south is a little smaller, maybe we can hang towards the south a little bit more so that like we can be closer to these lower threat rivals. So like they're doing this like Game of Thrones, like political 4D chess sort of like strategizing just so that they don't get like obliterated by these neighboring mongoose clans. But on top of that, sometimes mongooses end up fighting within their own group.
Oh.
So a mongoose they've both found something to forage on. A bigger mongoose might they use their hip to like bump one of the mongooses off.
Right.
They might bump each other off of food or resources. And then there's this 2021 study on dwarf mongooses. What they did this is another example of scientific studies that are just unhinged methodology. They took a recording, like an audio recording of two of the mongooses in the group getting in a fight. So one of them is like making these aggressive growling vocalizations at the other, and the other one is making these squeaking like, oh no, you got me kind of sounds.
Right.
So it's very clear in this recording which one is the aggressor and which one is the victim. So while these two mongooses are out of sight of the rest of the group, they're somewhere else. I think the researchers just like had them in a cage. They play those recordings of one mongoose being the aggressor towards the other. And then they return those mongooses to the group.
Okay.
There's no immediate response. Nobody really reacts on this right away. Like everyone kind of just plays it cool and acts normal. And then like an hour later, the sun's setting, it's evening time, they all go back into their sleeping burrow. All of the mongooses shunned the aggressor mongoose, the one that in the recording had attacked the other one. They refused to groom him.
Oh, that's the
Wanted
opposite.
nothing to do with it.
That's the opposite of what I was expecting.
Really? You were expecting they were going to like...
I thought they were like, winner.
Oh, yeah. A hero's welcome?
Or like just like the more dominant of the two or something.
Yeah. No, they wanted nothing to do with the aggressor. Which it's not really clear whether that's like... It's probably not like punitive, right? It's probably not like, oh, you did a bad thing, so we're like going to be mean to you because you've... It's probably not like a punishment thing. It could be more like, oh, you behaved unpredictably, so we're scared of you now.
Right. Like, I don't want to be attacked.
Yeah, like I don't... Well, you now are attacking people, so I'm going to avoid you because I don't want to get attacked too.
I see.
Also, what was interesting about this study, what hadn't been shown before, was that it was a delayed response. Like, it was so surprisingly sophisticated that the mongooses were, first of all, eavesdropping, right? This was a conflict that had nothing to do with them. This was going on somewhere else, right? This was someone else's business.
Yeah.
So they were eavesdropping, and they were understanding what was going on between those two mongooses. First of all, like, that's great. They're nosy. And then they identify one of the mongooses in the situation as like the aggressor, the antagonist. This is like the bad guy of the story. And then they remember that. And then later on that night, act on it socially. They remember, they're like, hey, you were kind of a jerk earlier. Like, you were the bad guy earlier. I'm not going to hang out with you now. Like, I don't want to groom you now. I remember that you were a jerk earlier. It's such like playground, like... like cafeteria, middle school sort of like, oh, you were mean to my friend earlier, so I'm not going to sit with you at lunch sort of thing. I mean,
it's kind of sad. Like, the mongoose is just catching strays. It doesn't understand why.
Yes, from that mongoose's perspective, this is a wild like event because from that mongoose's perspective, he just went out to eat, got stuck in a cage for a little while, and then when he came back, everyone's mad at him. Everyone is mad at him. He has no idea why. He's like, why are you guys being mean to me?
And then the other one is getting nice treatment. It's like, I don't know why this is happening, but I'll take it.
Yeah, this was an interesting story to read about. That is quite a sophisticated social behavior, right?
Yeah.
Well, like, so many levels to that.
Well, I'm glad their Mean Girls study went successful.
Yeah, it was very, I was reading about it, I was like, this feels very high school. This is high school activities from the mongooses. Now, when you watch these mongooses move together, like, they do tend to move in these very, very tightly clustered groups where, like, it could be like 10 to 20 mongooses, and they move so tightly that there's like no space in between one mongoose and the next one. They're like shoulder to shoulder, physically touching each other, often like running on top of each other because they're like overlapping with each other. Like, they're just so tightly clustered. And the Smithsonian's National Zoo website says that the mongooses are moving together, creating the appearance of a single large animal, which we see fish do, right? It's like fish schooling behavior. I couldn't really find too much to like support that is exactly what they're doing, but in videos of groups of mongooses, you can like see that effect.
Yeah. Just
to me, a human, that's definitely what it looks like. Like, instead of being a little herd of animals or something, it definitely looks like a single sort of writhing mass.
I wonder if this works better on terrestrial predators or airborne predators.
I don't know. I would imagine it would have a similar effect either way.
Well, I don't know. I guess I was wondering if the angle had any effect on the illusion.
I don't know, but also like the ones in the front, the ones that are like at the front of this group would all kind of like stand up on their hind legs together.
Oh.
And it actually does create the illusion of being like one large animal like picking its head up because like 5 mongooses stand up at the same time. And it looks like just like a large animal picking its head up off the ground.
Someone at Pokemon is like, write that down, write that down.
They already did. It's called wishy-washy.
I know, but now they can do it with a little friendly guy.
Something like Pat Rat or something like that. Yeah, so I did think that was interesting. I had not made that connection of, they're trying to like act like a single larger animal to like maybe intimidate a larger predator. But once I watched videos of them with that in mind, I was like, yeah, it kind of does look like that.
We should test this against mountain lions.
Gets mountain lions, which do not live there?
No, I mean with people, so that, you know how people are like, you look big.
Oh.
Like, link arms.
So if you and your 4 closest friends Voltron together.
Make a cheerleader pyramid. Go.
If we all stack on top of each other, the mountain lion will not attack us. That means that you need to plan who you are hiking with much more carefully. We need a base. We need flyers. We need someone to be at the top. We need a really tiny dude to be the top of our pyramid.
How does y'all sense of rhythm do in dire panic?
So you're trying to choreograph, and it's not enough to have a cheerleader pyramid, but you need an entire cheer routine.
Can't survive if you ain't cute.
You need a whole routine prepared for when that mountain lion attacks.
Yeah.
So like you hear like a rawr, rawr, and you're like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So true. And the last thing I want to talk about for ingenuity is that some types of mongooses do have a very interesting symbiosis with warthogs.
Oh, good.
As the prophecy foretold in The Lion King.
Yeah.
Warthogs do often allow mongooses to climb all over them to pick off parasitic bugs.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like a den sharing situation.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind. I don't know if warthogs den, though. I know they wallow. I don't remember. I'd have to go back. But like the warthogs would very much just like chill there and let the mongooses like climb all over them.
That's
and mongooses
nice.
are like picking like ticks and bugs and stuff off of them.
How nice.
Just like Timon and Pumbaa. Although I don't think meerkats do this specifically.
Oh.
I think it's like banded mongoose that pick bugs off of warthogs. You know, I was thinking, I was like, maybe that's why they made Timon and Pumbaa a meerkat and a warthog. Not the case. It was not so. Apparently, Pumbaa was originally supposed to be an elephant. And at one point in development, they decided to change him to a warthog.
Make him little and make some fart jokes.
They could have done the fart jokes with an elephant. That was an option.
The pig and the snake.
And then you'd have the elephant could make these like trumpeting noises that would be kind of like farting. I'm a creative visionary. Disney, get at me. DM's open. If you want to optimize your fart joke strategy, please get a hold of me. Finally, for aesthetics for mongooses, this may surprise you. I'm giving them a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Have you seen a mongoose recently?
No, I've been trying to visualize it this whole time, and I keep saying meerkat.
I mean, so meerkats are certainly, like, the template is there, but meerkats are quite different from what most other mongooses look like.
Or it dips into ferret and weasel.
Yeah, I would say it leans more weasel. Here, check out these mongooses.
Oh, okay. Oh, the face is something.
The face is something, right? That's where the snag is for me. When you get them from the side, it's pretty cute. The side profile is pretty cute. But when you get one that's looking straight at the camera, it's bad. It's like too human, I think. And I was wondering, I was looking at all these pictures of mongooses, and I was like, what is it about the face that is so unsettling to me? I was like, there's something here that is like causing an odd effect for me. I'm going to show you a close-up of a mongoose, and I'm going to see if you can identify what it is about them that is so bizarre.
Oh, so it's got horizontal pupils.
The horizontal pupils. I think that's what's throwing me off about them.
And there's also not much of a dip between like the brow and the nose. So it's like, it's very like,
It is an even slope.
Yeah.
No, it was the horizontal pupils for me that were really, I think, throwing a wrench in the whole thing. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, why would they be like that? They're like a goat.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have the eyes of a goat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it. I cannot think of a single other carnivoran that has eyes like that. Not a single one. Zero. None.
Yeah.
I can't think of any. There might be one, but if there is, I do not know about it. The only ones I can think of either have perfectly like round circular pupils or a vertical slit. I can't think of a single other like predatory animal that has horizontal pupils.
Well, I guess cuttlefish has those W pupils.
Yeah,
but...
theirs are like a funky W shape.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they've made so many enemies. Like they've got their predators to look out for, but they also have their ops. So, like, you got to have, like, one eye on the streets, I guess.
No, I don't remember. Have we talked about how that pupil helps goats?
They have a wide field of view.
Okay.
So, like, they can see across the horizon, like, panoramic field of view, basically.
Okay.
And with goats, I don't know about this with mongoose. I don't know if mongooses can do this, but with goats, their eyes rotate independently of the head. So, like, if a goat lowers its head, the eyeballs rotate counter, like
it stays horizontal,
right? So the pupil stays level with the horizon no matter how the head is tilted.
That's a weird axis of movement for an eyeball.
It's weird, right? Yeah. So human eyeballs can kind of like rotate like that, but not anywhere near to the same extent,
right? Huh.
But goats can like fully tilt their eyeballs all around. I think horses can do it too.
Weird.
Yeah, but I have no idea why mongooses have horizontal pupils. It's so weird, right? Fun little mystery, and also makes them creepy to look at, I think. I tried looking around to see like why that is. Could not find an answer. And also, I thought it was weird that like a lot of websites with like fun facts, information about mongooses didn't have anything to say about the fact that they have horizontal pupils. No mention of it. I was like, am I going crazy? Is nobody else weirded out by this? This is so weird to me.
Perhaps a good thesis subject.
There you go. If anyone's looking for a thesis topic, a research paper, whatever you want to do with that, free idea. Now, finally, let's talk about conservation. Throughout the sort of 19th, more so in the 19th century, but also into the 20th century, the small Indian mongoose, specific species of mongoose, was intentionally introduced to islands all over the world. And this is largely by European colonizers. So when colonizers would move into an area with islands and set up farms, plantations, things like that, they would often then release mongooses into these islands as an attempt at what they considered pest control.
Blech.
Yeah, you're making that sound because this is a common story that ends in disaster. So they've been introduced throughout the Caribbean, in Pacific islands like Fiji and Hawaii, and even the islands of Okinawa and Amami Oshima in Japan. Now, you might notice a glaring omission from this list. What have I not mentioned, which is almost always mentioned?
New Zealand.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So weirdly, mongooses were released in New Zealand and Australia in like the late 1800s, but for unclear reasons did not survive and did not establish populations there. In Australia, I think it's because different snakes.
Oh, yeah.
I think in Australia it's different snakes.
And also...
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different venoms, maybe, in Australia. Could not hang. But in New Zealand, I don't know why the mongooses didn't hang on.
Climate's different, I think.
It is quite a different climate. Yeah, maybe it gets too cold there for the mongooses. They do tend to thrive in warm environments. But yeah, I mean, New Zealand, they had enough on their plate. They have enough to deal with, so it's a blessing that the mongooses did not find a foothold there. But, okay, so in Hawaii, one of the places where mongooses have been done the most damage. So in 1883, sugarcane plantation owners released mongooses hoping that they would hunt the rats that were eating their crops.
The rats they introduced?
The rats that they also introduced, yes.
Interesting.
So did also, yes, bring the rats with them. So they were introduced now, the mongooses, to deal with the rats. So once the mongooses settled in, a glaring flaw in the plan became abundantly clear, which is that rats are nocturnal and they are out at night. Mongooses are diurnal. They're out in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
They never crossed paths. They just completely ignored each other.
Now you got 2 problems.
Now you have 2 problems. So the mongooses, not eating the rats, got to eat something.
Yeah.
So they turned instead to things like sea turtle eggs and the eggs of the Hawaiian goose, the nene, and all sorts of other like ground-dwelling birds, native mammals, native reptiles, anything they could grab. And many species of birds went straight up extinct in Hawaii. Just huge like population collapses of a lot of native species because of the mongooses.
I gotta wonder, had this strategy ever worked somewhere?
You know what? The potato beetle, with the air potato beetle, you remember that? It's in Florida. In Florida, there's an invasive plant. I think it's called the air potato.
Yeah.
And then there's a beetle specially eats that plant that was released in Florida that is actually doing a really good job. Biocontrol is like a concept, but you have to work really, really, really hard to make sure that like the thing you're introducing isn't going to cause its own problems.
Right.
And that's not at all what happened here. This was the 1880s. They didn't have any concept of like ecosystems. They were just like, you know what? We need something that eats rats. Put it out there.
But the part they didn't think about was they would have had to eat only rats.
Right.
So even if that part of the plan had worked and all the rats were gone, that doesn't mean they suddenly disappear.
Yeah. Now what do you do with all these mongooses you have around? You just have a brand new problem now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that super, super didn't work. And then in Japan, mongooses were introduced in an attempt to kill off specifically a venomous pit viper native to Japan called the habu. This is a tree-dwelling pit viper that farmers wanted the mongooses to eat. Now, similar to the situation in Hawaii, habu snakes both are nocturnal and live in trees. Mongooses don't do either of those things. They live on the ground and they come out during the day.
Yeah.
So the snake and the mongoose literally never saw each other. Just complete ships in the night, like no interaction with each other.
And again, also a different venom.
Also a different venom. So I don't know if the type of toxin was the same. But what I do know is that it did not work at all. The mongooses did not eat the snakes, and instead they ate literally everything else.
Right.
So there's a species of rabbit native to the islands that plummeted in population because the mongooses were eating them. The Ryukyu robin, the purple jay, Okinawa rails, just all sorts of native species that suddenly now, are being eaten up by all the mongooses. And in fact, if you've ever heard of the Pokemon Zangoose and its counterpart Seviper, those Pokemon were based on this story.
Interesting.
Yeah, this specific thing in like Japanese history of the mongooses being introduced to deal with the vipers.
So what is the story behind that much concern with the native vipers to try and go to this length to get rid of them?
They're extremely venomous and have actually like killed a lot of people. And they just didn't want to deal with them anymore, I guess. They wanted some control over them, basically. They wanted to kill off enough of them that they didn't pose such a threat. They had actually like envenomated thousands of people, and I think have killed like 50 or so people have been killed by this viper. Considering that this is a pretty small island.
Sure.
So the vipers are quite dangerous to humans. But now the mongooses are a much bigger problem than the vipers.
And the vipers are still there.
The vipers are still there, yes. So once again, now you have 2 problems. And one of the problems is actually a lot bigger than the first one.
See, this is why when we were in Florida, I would tell anyone who listened who was going on about like, I hate snakes, I kill them on sight, etc. I would always tell them, like, I would much rather have the snakes than a lot of the things they eat.
Yeah. They're doing the work for you.
Yeah.
A lot of time, well, I mean, Florida's probably a bad example because most everything has a foothold there anyway. Like, I call it the ecosystem of Theseus because it's like what in Florida isn't invasive at this point. I feel like when you look around in a circle, you're probably going to find like most of them are going to be invasive species.
Well, like people in our old neighborhood would have a big problem with water moccasins, right?
Whatever.
Or the things that look like water moccasins.
Whatever.
I was like, water moccasin isn't going to chew out the wiring in your truck.
That's true. Well, everyone's got a cousin who's been chased by a water moccasin.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's got a cousin who says they've been chased by a water moccasin. Notice how it's never I was chased by a water moccasin. It's always my cousin said he was chased by a water moccasin.
I believe there are people who think they were, but it's we talked about this many moons ago.
Yeah.
But it's just normally just they're not smart and they will pick a direction to run and they will go.
If you are in between them and the safest place they could get to, it's going to look like they're going towards you.
Right.
But if you just like take a step to the left, whereas people usually don't think to just like get out of their path.
Sure.
They think, oh, if I just continue running along their same trajectory.
Well, the thought is maximize distance between you and the thing, which happens to be along the same trajectory of where it's trying to go.
And like, just alter your path, dude. Like a foot out of the path will get you out. Anyway. So, yeah, that did not solve the problem and, in fact, introduced a bunch of new problems. That is basically the story of the mongoose. Like, in all these islands, like in the Virgin Islands and Hispaniola and all throughout the Caribbean, it's the same story. Like, mongooses get introduced to control something there to protect the interests of largely colonizers and often farmers and stuff. And then the mongooses end up causing more problems. A lot of times also like in these Japanese islands where mongooses were introduced, it's because the mongooses were not eating what they wanted them to eat.
Right.
The mongooses then turned against the poultry farmers and started eating all of their chickens and eggs.
Oh.
So now the mongooses are actually causing more of a problem than the snakes originally did.
Oh, okay.
Because mongooses are really good at eating chickens and eggs.
Most things are, honestly. Yeah. Domesticated chickens are easy.
We have made them extremely edible. We've made them super easy to catch and delicious.
That's one's on us, guys.
Honestly, I fear this was our bad.
But I guess at least they didn't double down and try to introduce something to deal with the mongooses like lions. That's what we need.
No, next you need like some sort of bird of prey. I don't know.
I'm going to write science fiction.
Okay, love it.
Where humanity was the introduced species to Earth to deal with something.
Adrian Tchaikovsky, please. Adrian Tchaikovsky, please. Adrian, if you're listening. Adrian, please. Email me, please. Let me cook. I got an idea for you, fam. Please. The last little bit I mentioned earlier that they did not become established in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. Mongooses are banned from New Zealand. You cannot bring a mongoose into New Zealand. Most animals, I would say. Lots of animals. I was going to say,
like, the allowed list is probably much smaller.
Yeah, there are many, many animals you are not allowed to bring into New Zealand. Mongooses are one of them, with the explicit omission of meerkats.
Interesting.
They specify. They're like, except meerkats. You can bring meerkats in. That's okay. And I'm like, what? How did meerkats get the pass?
One of those legislators was a Lion King fan, I bet.
Like, that's the only thing I can think of that they'd be like, meerkats are cute. We like those. Like, you're fine. You can come in. That's wild to me.
Or maybe the zoo has like a program or something. I don't know.
With meerkats?
Yeah, that's true. Why would they have a...
Every zoo has meerkats. They're so easy to have. I don't know why it would be meerkats. Yeah, I was just like, it was interesting to me that like the New Zealand legislature specifically says like mongooses except meerkats. Like, okay, sure. So that's mongooses.
Thanks, babe.
I had a really fun time learning about these. It was good to get back in the saddle after, I think it's been a month and a half since the last episode you and I recorded together. So it was very nice to get back in the swing of things. And this was a fun one to dust off the skills with.
For sure. Have we gotten a chance to say thanks for the Max Fun Drive now that that's behind us and all that?
2 months ago.
Yeah, but
3 months
well,
ago.
never mind then.
Yes, we thanked people for the Max Fun Drive. That was 3 months ago.
But like after the fact.
Yes. Your sense of time is so interesting. Your perception of the flow of time is a wonder. Well, thank you, Christian, for spending this time with me. And thank you, dear listener, for spending this time with us. If you liked what you heard, I would love it if you left behind some kind words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. Like, this is always so scary. Pulling up the podcast reviews is always terrifying.
Meaning to put one of these in here for you.
Grace Burt Jones, who said, I don't like podcasts that much, and I could never really get into them. But when I was really young, I loved shows and books about animals, and I loved learning silly little facts about animals. When I found this podcast, I found myself listening to it all the time. I would highly recommend this to anyone. Thank you. That is so sweet. I'm so glad that this helped you reconnect with your love of animals. I feel like we hear that a lot. So glad to hear that. And if you want to hang out with us online, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Discord, stuff like that. Links will be in the episode description. We'd like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network alongside their other amazing shows like the ones that you heard promos for during this episode. You want to go check those out, plus learn how you can be a part of supporting our show and get access to our monthly bonus episodes. Head over to MaximumFun.org. And finally, we'd like to thank Louis Zong for our amazing, wonderful, and delightful theme music. And that's all for today. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
Thanks, y'all.
I said thank you.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
No. No, I was saying thank you to the listeners, but you said it at the same time as me.
Oh, okay.
I don't want you to step on my toes.
Got it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.